All right, we're in the basic and breakdown build-up phase of metakinetics. Moving on to the elbow. Basic bicep curl. Elbow's a hinge joint. It does flexion and extension. All these videos are going to be a whole lot of me mumbling about flexion, extension, and all these kinesthetic words. So important concepts here. Play each part fully. Again, casual in the beginning, but fully. Just do this. All right, let's just pump in one side of the flexion. All right, flexion, extension. When I first started developing the sequence, I did break them down even further. I was like, all right, flexion, extension, but it's just too much. So just flexion, extension, flexion, extension. Notice my hands are alive and big, soft but alive, as opposed to finishing the job, needing to touch the shoulder, right? So you're never gonna get there, right? So point is to get the wrist towards the front deltoid. All right, get a little closer. Good. So don't do this. And again, my hands are soft, but they're not limp. I'm not in flexion with those upper joints, those knuckles. Good. Even here, so I'm in a wide stance, so I can't get. You gotta have a room for your arms to go. So if I'm wide, they get stopped. So good. That's the first part of the basic elbow flexion. Hinging back and forth like a door. Good. Second one, you add in a little rotator cuff, little lats, little serratus. And we're here in this position. Use this with a little bit of pressure. A lot of people are going to push from the hands. Push from your entire unit, your entire forearm, without protracting the scapula. Keep it stabilized and just push. Because again, you're focusing from elbows. So push those elbows out. Don't let the hands lag behind. Keep them there. Add weight to your elbows. Now you're exercising your elbow with a little 1 pound weight, or however much your forearm weighs. All right, it's basic, subtle, again, very basic. But always available, even when injured. So you should be able to do these. You reduce the pace, you reduce the numbers, and you build back up. But these are basic organic movements of the body, which should always have. Good, bring it down. Up, down, up, down. There's going to be momentum. Don't play the momentum. See my body rocking and just slapping myself around. So control, down, control, down. That controls all through the ribs, the core, and legs. Good. Hold. This is generally the first hold in the series, but you can hold any of these moves at any time. Just giving you some basic stuff. Now that we're in the layers of it, I can tell you more detail, really get into it. So it should feel shoulders. It should feel some shoulders burning. These things, as subtle as they are, they're amazing exercises. I feel my posterior and middle deltoid, my serratus, muscles underneath the armpits, my lats, my rhomboids, all those supportive muscles around the scapula. Good, and then slowly transition down. Let the elbows relax. Same thing. You might see me do this, don't do it. And just try to keep the wrist straight. Keep the fingers on top of the wrist. Down to the sides. Onto the medial or mid-deltoid. Good. Again, full range of motion, but no squeezing in the beginning. But don't get so relaxed that you're just waving your hands and flapping around aimlessly. All right, control creates the good posture, the good conditioning. Good. Second one, elbows come up to 90 degrees in relation to the shoulders. Straight out of the shoulder line, make it 90 degrees from the elbow up. Any in is cheating, right? Any out is a little extra workout. Good. Play the extensions, very important. Be easy, but be full. Breathe. Your breath is your fuel to aid in the chemical process that happens during exercise. Good. Slow descension from those triceps, from the ribs. Keep space in the armpit until it's ready to come down without contorting the scapula. In and out. So now the basic of this is in and out. Now I know a lot of PT exercises have soup cans that you hold something in a cylinder shape and come out, stabilizing the scapula, so it works in rotator cuff injuries. Okay, so this is a very good exercise, already been documented. Alright, so I've just got the hands open on this one. But only doing this one in the basic of the warm-up, I sort of neglects this part. And so there's one that goes back, just so you have the understanding that that's something too. Again, most people have injuries that require this type of therapy, according to a lot of PTs. Okay, so holding out. And then what I would now add in is the other side. Good. Again, stabilizing the scapulas. I'm not protracting and retracting, I'm stabilizing. There's a lot of understanding of anatomy and physiology, and they say most of the scapular muscles, rotator cuffs, those things around there, scapular muscles, not the rotator cuffs, are stabilizers. Right? So they stabilize more so than they have for mobility. Right? So there's a few for mobility, and they do these things. Good. But it feels good. You know, I used to be locked up in there, had a serratus injury a while back. It almost wasn't connected or working anymore. I'm not saying my muscle, I don't know what happened. I don't get diagnoses. So I just work through it and live and survive. Right. I'm not saying you should do that. You can do what you want. All right, behind the back. This is called a diamond back, because I make a diamond with my fingers. And then it's on the back. So diamond back, it's full name. We press down, extending the wrist as well. So key factors here, try to keep your posture. In the beginning, I have really tight shoulders, right? So it's really hard. It was more like this. All right, so stay close to the body and look like this in the beginning. All right, so as you get elevated, you get almost like a white crane stance, you know, a little horse, little chair. And down, with like a Wing Chun stance. My butt is on. It's not tucked. You know, I'm not doing a Steve Urkel, but it's on. It's here, and I'm disciplining myself to not thrust all the way. So it's on, out of the way, shoulders relaxed but on. And then I'm going to imagine the rubber bands or resistance bands squeezing my elbows towards each other as I extend my wrist and keep the diamond. I tend to get lazy on the way back up. Don't do that either. All right, or do it, but get over it. Full control the whole time. Again, casual, but it looks like I'm doing martial art, like palm strike, because it's hard. It's not easy to stay in position, proper alignment, and do it slow and relaxed. That's where you see any potential strain or needing to breathe, because I want to do this. But it's not that. Nice diamond back, press, and then you hold. This is another hold one. Good. So as far as elbows, because they have double joint actions, right? This is incorporating the elbow as well as this one, starting to open up to the rotator cuff, which is not just the shoulder. The shoulder by name is confusing and elusive, because what is the shoulder? All right, so we'll talk about that in the next one.